So, hello, fellow Earthlings. This is Earthling 6455463728 and Wonder Woman 1984. I wanted to give my thoughts on it, and I'll do that in a second. So, as I was saying, I am Earthling, yada yada yada, and I have an MBA. I have a computer science degree. I do about 5 minutes of high intensity interval training every day, and I like the results. I've kept off about 85 pounds for the last 5 years, and that's it for me for the moment. So I recently saw Wonder Woman 1984. I had seen reviews that were saying that, hey, it wasn't as great as the first one. And, in a way, that's to be expected. Yeah, that's to be expected. The thing about sequels is we want to see them, but there is so much less confusion, so much less mystery that happens in the sequel. For example, The Matrix. You walked into there, you don't know what it's going to be about, and your mind is blown. And the second one and the third one, you're not as excited per se. Lord of the Rings might be the same thing, for example. Sequels tend to, destroy our idea of happily ever after. And can we say that's how it was going to be with Wonder Woman? She didn't have her happily ever after because that's what made the first one so great. Somebody died. We don't have public executions anymore. We don't have people's heads on pikes. We don't have, like two male roosters fighting, for example. But we still have that desire for sacrifice and slaughter and all that other stuff. And that's what we got at the end of the first Wonder Woman. We got our mysteries as to how they were going to portray this character. We found out about it, and then there was the sacrifice of this great love of her life, and there was the naivete of someone who thought that all you had to do was defeat the god of war, and that was the end of the issue. So I mean, there were those huge things that you could use in Wonder Woman to compel feelings and make them arise, resonate in people's hearts. Now, don't get me wrong, the fight scenes in Wonder Woman 1984, they were delicious. They were just amazing. They were ridiculous, like how she managed to use her lasso to lasso a bullet from in front of someone's face. Just completely ridiculous, amazing, great stuff. Yeah, the fact of the matter is, unfortunately, that there's not that big a sacrifice that she gives up in the end as she gave up in the first movie. There is not that big a sacrifice. And let me just say, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Little to nobody's gonna be listening to this probably. But yeah, the guy comes back and she loses him again. But that's the thing. Like he tells her when she loses him again, he was already gone. So losing him again, how is it gonna hurt? It's like we already have a kind of a callus, and the arrangement of the way that he was brought back to life is not something that can be permanent. So yeah, it had to happen. But aside from that, I think the whole idea of there are these wishes that people can be granted. I see that again, like in the first movie. it was not so much about the actual thing or the person that was, you could say, causing the conflict, but the problem was within the hearts of human beings. I guess in the first one, the idea is that, okay, maybe Ares started the war, but once he got it started in in the hearts of men, they were very, very adept at continuing it without any more instruction or stimulation on his end. So I guess from that perspective, it's like, all right, we know what worked in the first movie. I guess it's Patty Jenkins, she's the director, and she would have okayed the script to an extent. What worked in the first movie is the sacrifice of giving up your love. But in the first movie, that was kind of unexpected. That was like out of the blue kind of a thing, you know? Um, in the second movie, it's drawn out and it is definitely expected. So we don't really put too much stock in that at all. I'll tell you what I would have preferred in this movie. I would have preferred if there was some kind of androgenization, I hope that's the correct word, of this this god in the movie. If there was a way for us to see, like as we saw in the first movie, we actually saw Ares. We met Ares, she and Ares fought, and it was like, okay, cool. I would have liked to see this other god, or yeah, I would have liked to meet some of the other gods. Just talking about, something being written in the language of the gods, or this thing being some item of the gods, that really wasn't enough for me. I really would have preferred to see the embodiment of a god. Something that, I mean, she is Wonder Woman, and okay, I guess that in this episode we had Cheetah, right? That was supposed to be a character um, in the movie, and she did fight Cheetah. She did get beat up, I suppose, the first time, but then the other time I don't know. I was not as happy as I would have been with the fights per se, as when she was fighting Ares. It just, to me, it wasn't as satisfying. The actual fight with, yeah, the fights with humans, actually, that was kind of exciting. I would look at those again. They were interesting. The fights, yeah, I don't know. Just wasn't as satisfying as it could have been for me if she was fighting with some kind of a god or something. So there's less mystery because we kind of already know about it. And yeah, the stuff at the beginning of the movie, that was, I don't know what happened. I can't recall what happened in the beginning of the first movie, but showing her to be so amazing from just a tiny little kid was not exactly yeah. And then the whole thing with how she was gonna lose, or how she ended up losing, that I thought that wasn't really fair. I mean, I don't know. It's just between her losing stuff that she already lost and was never really going to get back in the first place, um, between not having an actual embodiment of a particular god or something, and I understand how that would have contradicted with the Cheetah character because that's supposed to be her main adversary, but still I couldn't really, deal with that. And then the revelations of how the magical lasso works. and everybody in the entire world needing to join together and come to some realization rather than, just the decision being as a result of a fight or something. Yeah, all of those things just was not enough for me. So anyway, let me just say that that's it for me. It was a good movie in terms of, I know somebody did some good work, but in terms of my satisfaction, I'll go see the next one, but I'm definitely not going to be as excited as I would have been coming in to see this particular movie. So anyway, yeah, that's it for me. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, or any other feedback that people normally give. And of course, please do it with the idea in mind of what you like for somebody else to do if you made something on YouTube. Have a good one. Peace.